And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
DeLeone and Sean Anderson. We're here to talk latest NFL free agency buzz. We're talking DK Metcalf requesting a trade, Trey Hendrickson being given permission to seek a trade, and the Bears making moves to boost their offensive line. All that coming up and more. Before we get there, Sean, can you share with our listeners a quick word from BetOnline?
BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting in 2025. Fresh new read, hot off the presses from Mr. Cam Rogers. Nope. Whether you are a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source, from every three-pointer to hat trick. Come on, Ovi. 9 away now. He's 9 away, DeLeone. Greatest hockey player of all time. Shove it. Still waiting.
He's not better than Gretzky.
Oh, is he not? I'm sure.
He's not.
I'm sure the defenses aren't better in modern hockey.
Oh, what the hell kind of a no. I would argue that this isn't basketball. You're going up against.
It certainly is.
The guys you were going up back in the day weren't wearing helmets, man. You think that those MFers weren't hitting harder?
Yeah, they were more unhinged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's this take?
Yeah, but also goalie padding was smaller. Defenses were worse. You could carve through.
It's the wrong take.
No, it is the absolute right take.
It's a bad take.
Alex Ovechkin, greatest hockey player of all time, hero of mine. Cried looking at him on a big board one time. It is what it is. Every play, every win, every game. BetOnline. The game starts here.
All right, Sean, let's start things off talking about DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is requesting a trade. Per Diana Rossini of The Athletic, they reported that Metcalf requested a trade, and the Seahawks want a first and a third round pick in return. They also apparently said that Metcalf wants a new contract that could be worth up to $30 million per year, which is a huge amount. DK Metcalf, to me, fits perfectly with the Green Bay Packers, but apparently the Packers don't have interest in DK Metcalf. So the question that I now ask is, where does he fit? I know he wants to go to a contender. I want to see DK Metcalf play for the Patriots. I want to see him play for New England. I want to see, and I keep pushing the thought of weapons going to New England and getting Drake May opportunities to shine. DK Metcalf is how you're going to do that. Getting him guys that he can just rip the ball to down the sideline and pick up big plays. I don't know where else he'd want to go. They have the cap room to pay him. It's the best spot.
God, I wanted to bash your first option so bad. I wanted to bash it. I love it. I love DK to the Patriots. Give Drake May, who I think is an emerging star in the league, an absolute weapon on the outside. You know, they got it done a little bit with the Mario Douglas and the Island of Misfit Toys offense that they've been running. But it's time to start taking yourself seriously. Go after some legitimate targets out of the outside. No more missing on receivers in the draft. Just be competent now. It's time. It's the Vrabel era. It is an absolute machine that is going to be taking over in New England. Give Drake May a weapon. I'm going to vouch for the hometown team, though. I think they're more of a contender, the hometown team being the Atlanta Falcons, more of a contender.
That's not how that works.
Than the New England Patriots at this point. I think they would have the cash. They're still trying to sign Darnell Mooney back, who would be a fantastic slot. You have Drake London on the outside. Put DK Metcalf across from him. Kyle Pitts, you could put at running back for all I care at this point. Give me the tallest offense in NFL history, and let's shock the world.
You're stealing my bit. By the way, put the overlay on us when you have a second. This was my bit that I tweeted out yesterday. Imagine, it's so impractical. Imagine Drake London at 6'5", DK Metcalf, who's a speed demon at 6'4" and as big as he is. And then on top of this, you have Kyle Pitts, who's 6'5", 6'6". You would have the most unnecessarily tall receiving core in the NFL for no reason. You get the opportunity for Michael Penix just to launch the ball as high and as far as possible. Are you having trouble finding the overlay?
I got it.
Okay. You're making a lot of
I was a
faces
little. Look, we got a lot of images in here right now. We're floating around.
Yes, I think that for the chaos factor, that would be the most comically large receiving core. I have no idea if it would work, but yeah,
Why
I would
wouldn't
support
it work?
that.
How could it not work? Michael Penix Jr. dropping back to southpaw, throwing 60-yard bombs to DK Metcalf. He doesn't catch it. He gets called for defensive pass interference, and we're on the 30. It's a great offensive scheme and game plan. Bijan Robinson.
He's too small. He's too small.
Oh, you think he doesn't meet our requirements on the roller coaster?
You got to go get Savion Williams in this class is a 6'3" receiver that is apparently some teams have him as a running back. You got to go get him out of TCU.
Here's the nasty work I did see. I think you posted some film of him.
I haven't.
Who
I
did?
Have not.
Did Ryan post some film of him?
He might have.
Yes,
might
he
have
did.
Been him.
Interested in that player for sure. If DK Metcalf wanted to start some really nasty work, every other team in the NFC West needs a number 2 wide receiver. The Rams need one. The Cardinals pairing him with Marvin Harrison Jr. would be spectacular.
That I would support.
And the 49ers just offloaded Debo, put him with
Yeah, but
Ayuk,
they don't.
and the 49ers
Wait,
reload
stop.
quick.
I'm shutting that one down. They don't have money for that.
I got you.
We got to. The money's the
where
first
we're
thing.
at here.
The money is the first thing that we need to talk about, and I think a lot of people just generally don't realize that his trade value is going to be a lot lower than a first and a third. It's probably going to be more like a second round pick because he wants and needs a new contract. There's the risk of him not re-signing. I don't think that the 49ers are in a tough cap spot and they got to pay Brock. So no.
All I was
shutting that one
They
down.
don't need to pay Brock, by the way. They don't need
They're
to.
going to pay Brock. They shouldn't, but they're going to pay Brock.
How's this for a trade for you? I'll throw one out. DK Metcalf, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith straight up. You get Geno and DK in San Fran. Seattle gets
You're
Brock
the worst
Purdy.
general manager on the planet. You picked
How
some
much
of
are
the
you
most
paying Brock Purdy? They need to pay
I am
Brock
not
Purdy.
okay, but like, can we be on planet Earth here for a second? That's not happening.
Look,
They're not getting rid
I'm
of
trying to
Brock
make
for
something
Geno. Also, why do you think DK is requesting a trade?
Is Brock
Well,
that much
no.
higher than Geno?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that he is. We all know that I'm not a fan of Brock Purdy, but the 49ers clearly like him and they're valuing him. They're not all of a sudden going to go, yep, we need Geno Smith. Also, why do you think DK Metcalf is trying to get out of Seattle? You think that he's not sick of Geno Smith? You think that he needs a better option?
Look, I got you. I was about to ask you before that madness if you think the Geno Smith cloud has pushed away DK Metcalf. He's looking for greener pastures with a better quarterback that can take him somewhere farther, because as I think both of us have been moderately high on Seattle the last couple years. Like they've drafted really well, some strong players, and they've shown really bright flashes. But I'd be hard pressed to find someone that thinks that they go deep in the late rounds of the playoffs next season.
Not with Geno.
So I understand why DK is trying to get out. They do need. They're right on that brink of needing to make a big splash play at quarterback to capitalize on their young talent. It's a bummer DK's getting out. I think they were a year too late with the Geno stuff. I think we saw his ceiling in like year 1 in Seattle, and then they should have said, that's your ceiling, pal. Like all the Darnold discourse we're having this year should have been happening for Geno Smith in his first year in Seattle.
Well, he's not as good as Sam Darnold. He's fine, and he's kind of shown us that he's fine, and he's good enough to be an average starter, but nothing more than that. I've always felt like he was aggressively and overly positively characterized as like a possible top 5 quarterback. Like everybody's been saying, like, wow, Geno, maybe he's the MVP for that first year where he was starting and he had that really good stretch. But he's not. He kind of came back.
Darnold year that year.
But he came back down to earth.
He had 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. It's almost identical to Darnold's year this year.
This year we came back down to earth and realizing, hey, Geno's exactly what he is. He's in his 30s. He's at the end of his career. His ceiling has always been him being an average starter, and that's what we got come to fruition. I kind of laugh, though, at how DK requests a trade, Tyler Lockett gets released, and everybody is like, how could Geno Smith do this? Like, everyone's suddenly like, oh, my God, Geno Smith, this is all your fault. I do feel bad for Geno Smith in that sense. I do kind of point, I think Seattle needs to scrap it and start over. I have been saying that they need to scrap it and start over because
It's just tough medicine to swallow. That's my reaction. I don't think you're inherently wrong, but that's tough to swallow.
They're going down the Saints path here, which is toiling around that 500 mark and just missing the playoffs or being around playoff conversation for long stretches. And then eventually everyone ages out. You're spending way too much money to keep a bunch of guys around that weren't really as good as you thought that they were. And then boom, it's all dead. It's done. And then your team's a shit show. You got to hit the reset button now. And this draft class is not going to be the draft class to do it because there's no quarterbacks for them to take unless they went Jalen Milroe in the second round or something and hope they could get something out of him. They are, I would argue, that the Seahawks are in the worst possible situation out of any team. They are in complete hell by having to get rid of DK and not really having a clear vision for their future.
God, they have some great pieces, though. If they did scrap it, they could get a king's ransom. I mean, the defensive backfield, I would hope they could keep Kobe Bryant, Witherspoon, and Love. I think it's one of the best defensive backfields in the NFL. Witherspoon, I'm a fan of. The left side of their offensive line ain't bad. Cross and Tomlinson are okay. And you know what? I'll raise the hand up accountability. I got duped by the offense. Forgot how tragic it was outside of the running backs. It's without Metcalf and without Lockett. This is a really
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
It's Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker III, and Zach Charbonnet. And I think, hand up again, I think I got duped because Walker and Charbonnet run so hard that I think that they're better than they actually are. So that's where I'm getting caught in the mud with Seattle, but their defensive pieces are a lot stronger than their offensive pieces.
I like Charbonnet and Walker. I think that they are a good duo. As solo backs, I don't think either of them do well, but they play off of one another really well, and their offensive line has been slowly improving, and you can improve it just a little bit more this draft class. I just look at this team, though. You're done with both receivers, when at one point it looked like, hey, this is a great trio, and now it's just Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I don't know what the hell the direction is here. The only way I think forward is starting from scratch, and the quicker you start from scratch, the quicker you build back up.
The problem is they're always competitive in that division because they're better than Arizona. A little bit. They're always scrappy with Los Angeles and the 49ers and Seahawks. 49ers have the edge, but it's always tight. Like we haven't seen true runaway fashion in that division. One team holding the edge. We haven't seen a Buffalo type situation out there. It's a constant rotation of who's the number one. Seattle keeps getting caught at 3 though, and that's their problem. When they can get out of that, I think they're making noise. And you're right. The only way to do that is to make some changes.
If they were really smart, and I know we talk a lot of Sam Darnold on here, if they were really smart, they would trade Geno or they would cut Geno.
What about
something.
Howell?
Shut up. Then they would offer Darnold whatever contract he's looking for, because that's a proven guy who's much younger than Geno, who has played at a high level.
Yeah.
If they were able to figure out their receiver situation to get a secondary guy with Jackson Smith and Jigba, that offense doesn't really lose a step, and it arguably gets better.
Do you think that maybe they roll with Geno and then enter themselves in the Arch sweepstakes? And that's such a weird call, because you made the point last show. There's no certainty that Arch even declares.
I don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
I really don't. So no, I don't. I think that you can't have that. You can never have the belief of, oh, the next class is going to have somebody, because there's plenty of times where they don't pan out.
Right.
And just like there's plenty of times where somebody comes out of nowhere like Joe Burrow does and Jane Daniels does. But we don't know. It's so uncertain. You can't have that approach. I would think if they wanted to have a very quick, short turnaround, try and do what you can to get Sam Darnold. Try and get a second-round pick for DK. Use that second-round pick to draft one of the great receivers and the great day 2 receivers. There's not many good options, but maybe Luther Burden falls that far.
They make it work in Seattle, though. They turn mediocre guys into really good wideouts.
Good front office.
They're very good in that way. Gavin is in here being problematic. Trade DK to the Raiders for a high second. He's not going to the Raiders, pal. I know you probably want to punish DK Metcalf for requesting a trade right now, but I think he'd rather stay in Seattle than to go to that fire. Or maybe go back with Carroll. Maybe go back with Carroll.
I don't know if it's so much of a fire, though, now that you got Tom Brady in the mix. I think they're a little – the direction's a little bit better.
If Tom Brady was throwing the ball, I'd send DK there. Tom Brady is going to be better as a quarterback than anybody that they bring in, and he's going to be 47 years old this year.
What if they draft Shador? Okay, obviously – no, Shador Sanders is better than a 47-year-old Tom Brady.
No, rookie
20
Shedeur Sanders versus 47-year-old Tom Brady.
27. The dude could barely move by the very end of his career.
He could move that arm. He could move those boys up to the line, get them ready to go. I guarantee that is a crazy statement that you're making.
No.
I understand that if he took a one big shot in his 160-pound playing weight right now,
You think he's 160?
I wouldn't be
I think
surprised.
he's a hoss. I think he's gotten bigger.
No, he's not a hoss.
He's gotten more jacked.
That's hollow
You're
bones.
down. Quit being so low on looks maxing Tom Brady. He's a Giga Chad. Stop. We're not doing this again.
I like old quarterbacks that start getting the salt and pepper, that start looking a little bit older.
No.
Oh, are you
like
kidding
Donovan
me?
McNabb? He got really fat. Like he's like
Tom Brady, when he went to Tampa originally, dreamboat. He still had a little fat in his face. Hair started changing.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
yeah.
he didn't. He was
Yeah,
going.
did.
He was going all skeletal. He was going like all
Skeletal.
toned
No.
face. Everything. Everything was toned. He was already there.
He really leaned into it after that.
He looked
after that
25
season.
when he
He
got
did
to
not
Tampa
look
Bay.
25.
Yes, he did.
You have issues.
Yes, he did.
All right.
All right. Speaking of youth, though, the Chicago Bears have already had the best offseason out of any team, and free agency hasn't even started. The Bears were aggressive in making moves and trading for 2 veteran interior offensive linemen. They traded a 4th-round pick for Joe Thuney. I always say that wrong. And they traded a 6th-round pick for Jonah Jackson from the Rams. 2 guys who are quality starters. I understand the criticism that Thuney is on the end of his career. He's 33 years old, but he's still a 2-time All-Pro, and you only had to send a 4th-round pick for this dude. The approach needed to be, with Caleb Williams being sacked 68 times last year, going and getting him as much protection as possible. And they're doing this. They just need to draft a center, and this offensive line is completely different.
I'm not worried about the Thuney age at all. These real upper echelon offensive linemen.
Real orators over here on this show.
This is how you do it,
Oh,
people.
wait, update of the century. Tommy DeVito re-signs with the Giants. Breaking news. Quarterback of the future. I'm telling you, that's all who we're going to start. If we don't draft Cam Warden, we don't trade up. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers.
Why'd I fall for that?
I just want Stromboli Tommy. I want him going after. All right, go ahead, let's get back to the Bears.
My stomach tightened when you said up. I thought we might have had a DK play, but no.
That's the real news.
I am a dope and a fool for believing that you had.
All right, back to the Bears because we're not going to analyze Tommy DeVito.
These really elite offensive linemen like Thuney, they can play late into their 30s. We just saw Jason Peters retire after 22 years. Did the big cat fall off a little bit towards the end? Yes, but they stay in the league, man. It's not hard to keep the mass on. Trust me on that. Not hard.
You've done a good job of that.
To retain mass. The athleticism, I think Thuney can keep that up. They're all the nutritionists, all the quick flexibility and elite strength and conditioning trainers can keep these guys in shape and in production as long as they want. Getting Caleb Williams an offensive line that he can be comfortable behind is so necessary. And now it is, how do they start working? How do they start blending together? I don't like this. NFL teams start really crumbling, and you see it if you have optimism. If you're a team that goes on a skid, it's because these offensive linemen start rotating in and out. When you're sitting in week 12, right, and you hear a commentator, a broadcaster state, well, this is the 7th straight different combination of the front 5 that we've seen, it's no shock when you see that the team is 3-9 at that point. Keep the guys healthy, keep Caleb on his feet, and we could see some big things. Couple that with an actually structured offense that Caleb Williams can work through, and the Bears really did win the offseason.
The bigger reason why they're already smoking this and they've got the best offseason, the free agent market for guards was bad. It was Trey Smith and Will Fries, and it was thin. And it sounds like Trey Smith could potentially end up be back with the Chiefs. Part of the reason probably why they traded Thuney was so that they could have money to keep Trey Smith. The interior line class is good, but if you're trying to keep Caleb Williams upright, you need to bring in guys who have been around the block. Now, I don't know how much longer you're going to get Joe Thuney to play at a high level. I just don't.
Probably 3 years.
2. He's 33.
I'll
Get the 35.
I'll give you 2. I'll give you 2 good level. 3, he can still start.
Thuney also reminds me of how the Lions went and got Kevin Zeitler, who it felt like Kevin Zeitler was at the end of his career, brought him in, and they got some really good play out of him for this final stretch. He was one of their most important linemen because he's just experienced.
Yeah.
Having an experienced guy who maybe can barely move still, and Thuney's not that, is still better than taking a shot on someone.
I completely get it. When Atlanta brought in Alex Mack, he was a game changer because he was a veteran center that had been around the block, had a ton of experience, and he knew all the tricks. If you continue to play offensive line in your 30s, there's nothing that's going to surprise you. The biggest threat is just seeing like a freak like Jalen Carter run down your face and say, "This guy is 25 and can lift cars." I maybe I can't do that, but other than that, they know the ins and the outs of the offense. Maybe Chicago makes a push for Drew Dahlman, good run blocker, bad pass protector. I'm not sure, not bad, but adequate.
Well, are
pass
they going to be?
But he's looking for big money. He's the top-rated center that's going to be on free agency.
I don't think that they should spend money on a center too. I think that they should draft like Jared Wilson or Seth McLaughlin. So when I was listening to a show talking about Dahlman, and they were describing him as a wide zone center. I just don't know what Ben Johnson's going to run if that fits. I legitimately don't know if Ben Johnson's a wide zone guy, and that was why he succeeded because he had Chris Lindstrom next to him, but he's undersized, he's underweight.
Yeah, Dahlman's not going to kill you, but there's going to be a play a game where you're sitting here like, this guy, this 61 again, like all season. I'm waiting like, oh, okay, Dahlman, good so far, holding call because not athletic or undersized and sometimes not athletic enough to reach a 3-tech, even if he gets a hand help from a guard. So I'm not that high on him, but I understand that he could contribute. And if you're an OL needy team like the Bears,
he's also 67. You were wrong there.
Oh, you're 67. Who was 61? Was that Hennessy?
It might have been Hennessy.
We had a couple tragedies at center. I'm being overdramatic. Good for you, Drew Dahlman. You played just well enough to get overpaid. That's the American dream.
That's how it works.
That is the American dream.
Just enough to get overpaid. I love that.
He did the NFL equivalent of getting bots on your YouTube channel to boost your numbers so a company signs you. Way to be, pal.
And we may or may not know of somebody who did that at a big company. This was news that broke right before we went live, Sean. Trey Hendrickson is given permission to seek a trade. Adam Schefter reported the Bengals have taken the rare step of granting All-Pro defensive end Trey Hendrickson permission to seek a trade. It's been an honor and a privilege to represent Cincinnati over the last 4 years. The NFL sack leader said, "I love this city and organization. I appreciate it." So it sounds like he's donezo. Like it sounds like he's out. I can't help but look right now and think, holy shit. The Bengals defense that was awful just got a whole lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, your agenda gets fulfilled because now they have money to pay T. Higgins because they don't have to pay to keep Trey Hendrickson.
You think they will?
But this defense, yeah.
They're cheaper than all hell.
It's a good point. I have no idea, though, what the hell the Bengals are going to do because you looked at it coming into this offseason of Sam Hubbard didn't get any sacks last year, and he might be on his way out. And I thought he might get cut, but he retires. Yeah. So he's going out with a little bit of grace here. I was at least thinking, all right, you got Hendrickson. Let's get some defensive tackles. Let's maybe draft another edge rusher. But they don't have shit. They had a bad defense, an awful defense last year. Who's their best defensive player if you get rid of Hendrickson?
Mike Hilton? Slot corner. Very good player, but slot corner can't be your best player on defense.
No.
Jermaine Pratt, I think, requested a trade a while ago. So he might be gone. He was their tackles leader at middle linebacker. Cincinnati's in a bad spot. And this is not where it's the exact opposite spot you want to be when you have a top 5 quarterback in the NFL and maybe the best receiver in the NFL. You're looking across the dial and you got nothing helping you. I made the comp to Matt Ryan teams for Joe Burrow. The prophecy
it's so
is
much
becoming
worse than that,
fulfilled.
dude. It's so much worse than that.
How
though.
could it be? Matt, they didn't have a 10. I'm not going to get.
But
into
were
the
they
minutia,
were they
but
spending? The problem with the Bengals is that they're being cheap as shit.
Yeah. I got you.
Was Matt Ryan? Were they
Atlanta
cheap as
was
shit
trying
around
to-
Matt Ryan?
No, not on the offense. They were very willing to spend on the offense. Defense, they tried to solve it with the draft. They can't draft a pass rusher. So that's a bit of a different situation. You're right. Cincinnati is in dire straits. They need to make big plays soon for the defensive players, or else it's going to be an offense that isn't really fully fleshed out. Like, the offensive line still needs help. You have your 2 receivers and your quarterback, but I don't think that is a team that can run and gun. They can't be the Lions of 2 years ago, where really good explosive offense, defense was porous. We're just going to outgun you. They're not in the division for that. They have to play the Ravens with an incredible defense. Steelers always have a good defense. And the stupid Browns, who don't have an offense, still maintain a fantastic defense. So all of these in-division games they're going to have are going to be savage battles to the death. It's not going to be, we can just coast by. Every game is going to be a fight for them.
If they wanted to be true dickheads, they would trade Hendrickson to the Browns for Myles Garrett.
Oh.
And they would have to send extra compensation with Hendrickson.
Now you're
like,
speaking my
you probably have
language
to
here.
send Hendrickson and like a day 2 pick, I would argue, because Myles Garrett's much younger, or not much younger, but he's younger than Hendrickson. He's also just got more upside production for what he can do. But like, if you really want to say, all right, you want a damn trade, we'll send you to Cleveland.
Sure.
And you can go waste your time there because you're too good for us. They'll pay you. You know, they'll give you the money that you're looking for. And then Myles Garrett gets to go to a contending team. But none of this is going to happen.
You do that when you're in Cleveland, not in Cincinnati. Okay, Paul Brown, give it a rest. I would give it, if I was Cleveland in that proposition, I'd throw another pick in there. I'd give him a second and third, and Hendrickson for Garrett. He's worth it. That is a guy that Garrett can make the other 3 defensive linemen that you have that are adequate to good into all good. Like, just because you're going to have to expend so much offensive planning and resources into keeping that bendy freak from eviscerating your quarterback. So maybe that opens up for some rookie pass rusher that they draft or whoever they decide to acquire, but it has to be trenches oriented right now. You can get cheap with a linebacker. There's plenty of fast linebackers that love to tackle. It's the guys that can cover and tackle that get paid big. So they need to follow like that Rams format of not paying those guys, have 1 or 2 good defensive backs, and start investing in the trenches. Because every year we tried out Burrow. Hopefully he stays healthy the whole time. So the offensive line isn't even that shored up. And now the defensive line takes 2 massive hits in 1 week. They're in trouble.
Who needs a big meathead pass rusher, 4-3 defensive end? Who needs Trey Hendrickson? Like, I'm trying to think this through here where he could fit. I mean, Dallas is a team that comes to mind that you need a secondary pass rusher opposite of Micah Parsons. That one would work pretty well.
I mean,
maybe Tampa. I don't know what kind of
There's a
money
lot of-
Tampa has
yeah.
to spend on a pass rusher.
like there's easy teams like Carolina who needs everything could use a Hendrickson, but
God, we're really sending them to the Wolves here.
I know we're sending them to Cleveland and Carolina is where we're giving them the pitch. But if they want to,
Like, who's a play? Actually, well, here's an easy one that I think is affordable. The Commanders. Send them to the Commanders.
couldn't hurt
Because
but
they
I think
might
they're
be able to send. They might be willing to send their first rounder because it's a late first.
I think they may be waiting on that Jonathan Allen domino to fall and to see what they do with his trade. But
Well,
if
there's a
if
way.
that, if
There's
that
a
was the replacement, then we just swap it out.
You wouldn't be a direct swap. You probably have to trade Jonathan Allen and, again, a day 2 pick or multiple day 2 picks. Because an interior
Probably.
defensive lineman for one of the sack leaders
Yeah, but he can
in
rush.
the NFL.
He can rush the pass though.
Nah, I think that there's a Trey Hendrickson's worth a lot more than Jonathan Allen.
I don't think so.
A pass rusher compared to an interior defensive lineman,
He's still a pass rusher. Jonathan Allen is
still
also
defensive
a pass
tackle.
rusher. I got you. How am I defending the defensive tackle?
Yeah,
here?
man.
Dude, we got a Freaky Friday going on here.
Apparently.
I'm telling you, no. Jonathan Allen's value in the NFL, I think, is recognized, but because he's been buried, and because I was forced to watch so many Commanders games, I got to see like how dominant he truly is on the interior. Deron Payne got paid because Jonathan Allen was so dominant, not because Deron Payne had some big money year where he really deserved it. It's because he had a bunch of one-on-one matchups.
I still think that if you, again, I think that would be a good one-on-one swap because then you're at least addressing a
I love
need.
it.
You're at least, you need to fix your interior. So you're addressing your interior defensive line with an option that's going to be cheaper to pay because the defensive tackle is going to be cheaper to pay than an edge rusher. Then you can use your first-round pick on drafting one of these freaky edge rushers. Get Nick Scourton or Shamar Stewart's probably not going to be on the board. Mykel Williams, maybe if he's still on the board. Get one of these dudes. That's a plan. That's what the Bengals do. That's the plan. Try and go and get one of these dudes that's on the trade market and try and make a swap happen.
While we're carving up the Bengals, I'm going to pitch you this.
Okay.
Could the Bengals trade away Houday to the Saints and just find their own new slogan? Because
they're Who-Dat, aren't they?
No, Saints are Who-Dat.
So the Bengals are Who-Day.
Who-Day. We can't have a Who-Dat and a Who-Day. So
how did that happen?
I think that New Orleans had a cool chant with Who-Dat. Who-Dat say gonna beat them Saints. And then the Bengals said, hey, we're going to do the Ohio version. Who-Day say gonna beat them Bengals. So
is that actually the full thing?
I don't know, but it's
That
Who-Day.
sounds more Cajun. The one that you said sounded more.
Of course.
The Bengals one sounded more Cajun.
We can't have two Who-Dat Who-Days. So Bengals need to retire that. Come up with something Ohio-based, not something Louisiana Cajun-based.
You want some chili?
Ah.
That really gets the fans riled up.
You literally, your mascot's a tiger. You call the stadium the Den or something like that. They can get more creative than.
This goes to show how little we know about Cincinnati.
What they got?
They got chili.
They
swear
got
by.
chili. They had
I swear, every time you talk to somebody about Cincinnati, it's like, oh, yeah, it's Skyline Chili. What do you think with Skyline Chili? That's it. Like, is that all they have going for them is the chili?
No, they were one
They're
and a half.
kind of near Kentucky.
The city was half a part of one of the greatest broadcasting gaffes of all time.
Is that enough?
That is not it's enough for me personally. Oh, I'm gonna watch that
recognition.
after the show. I'm gonna just laugh at my
Is that what you do? Is you go back and watch?
Do you know how
Tom
much
Brenneman?
he's the best?
Why is there an H in his name?
I don't know. Yeah, you know what? If we're scrapping Cincinnati and Houday, we should scrap Toms that spell it THOM. I am over it.
Joey Bosa, it was announced, is going to be released by the Chargers. This is going to save them $25.36 million in cap space. Joey Bosa's end of his time with the Chargers, it comes because of injury, inconsistent availability. At one point, we saw the picture when he was drafted super early in the first round. It was, this is going to be one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. And he was. He really showed that shine of being dominant, but he slowly got more and more banged up. For a team that's trying to get good quick, spending money like this on an edge rusher that's not available often wasn't going to get them anywhere. It sounded like apparently Joey Bosa really wanted to stay in LA. Like he really liked LA. I don't know, and I think this was also thrown out there that maybe he does resign for a much cheaper contract because he really does not want to leave Los Angeles. But I don't think he's going to be super highly sought after. It's a big name that I don't think is going to get a ton of cachet. I love the thought of him going to the 49ers because he should be pretty cheap to go for a 1-year, $10 million deal.
Yeah, his trajectory is kind of crazy. The injury bug hurt him on really optimistic seasons. Started out the gate with 23 sacks in his first 2 seasons. Incredible.
Yeah.
2021, probably his best year, 10.5 sacks, 7 forced fumbles that year. And then progressive 2022, played 5 games, 23, 9 games. Last year, 14 games, only had 5 sacks and 17 solo tackles. So it just, the math doesn't add up for that type of value for Bosa, even though we know, he's a very explosive defensive end. But he was drafted when they were still the San Diego Chargers. So he's been in the league a lot longer than I think he's been in the league. Maybe that's because he is so explosive and dominant and he probably could get a sack. He always has that home run potential of getting that sack, but the numbers aren't showing it. It's not reflective. And they got a lot of mouths to feed in Los Angeles. They're going to have to figure out what happens with Mac. But I know he loves playing with opposite of Khalil Mack. So if he takes that cut, that would make the Chargers a real – keeping him would add their value. He still does add value to the team. He wouldn't be a detraction, but he would be a detraction for paying him nearly $26 million this year. You get him on the cheap with Khalil Mack, Chargers are back in that absolute playoff contender situation.
I brought this up a second ago. I'm going to keep pushing it. Him teaming up with his brother, Nick and Joey Bosa, on that 49ers defense, and they need another pass rusher opposite of Nick Bosa. Again, it's a cheap option. Being able to swoop up a guy who was just cut because he's been so banged up, you could get him for really dirt cheap. And then, Nick can go and advocate for him and try and convince him. He doesn't have to, move too far. San Francisco is much different than LA, but you're still staying in the same state. You don't have to get a new driver's license, all that good stuff. Maybe you can commute from LA. It's not that far. Obviously not. I think that would be cool, though. Like, I want to see a pass rush duo of two brothers. I think that would be sick.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think Twitter I now want to see it because I'm starting to think about Twitter having a field day.
Okay.
With two Bosas on the same team.
For the dumb reason.
For the dumb reason, but could you imagine the nicknames? Could you imagine the dialogue about
the MAGA twins?
The MAGA twins. Maybe they're Trump and Elon. I don't know. We got to figure out some type of way to get that. Someone smarter than me will have an absolute money nickname for them. But it would help. I think putting them next to each other would be great. I don't know if we were necessarily deprived of not seeing late stage JJ Watt play with TJ Watt, but it would have been cool to pair them up in primes. I think it would be cool to see two brothers play on the same team, at least on the same side of the field. Also, there's a lot of NFL families.
Any of that, anything close to that happen?
Yeah, we've had plenty. NFL families is not a rare thing. There's plenty of guys that had dads that played in the NFL. They played in the NFL.
Right.
Brothers play on different teams, but it's not often they're blocking one another or playing on the same side as one another. So I'm all for it. I wouldn't mind seeing him go there. He should be someone that a team calls about. And even if it is, I think his ceiling 1 year, if you're a real contender, you think he could push you to the Super Bowl. 1 year, $15 million. I wouldn't scoff at it.
Probably get him cheaper than that.
I think you could, but
for how banged up he's been, you could probably get him a lot cheaper.
But if you think that he could be the guy, and some other team, some middling team could be in contention, some loser ass team like Cincinnati could be in contention, and you think I'm a pass rusher away, he could be the pass rusher that gets you to the place you want to be. I think his ceiling is still high enough for that.
All right, Sean, every Thursday we do Hell Yeah and Get F'd of the Week, where Hell Yeah, we share something that we thought was sick, and then on the other side we share something funny of somebody getting completely dunked on. Sean, this is Hell Yeah of the Week.
This is the Hack City Hell Yeah of the Week. Cue the lasers.
What do you got?
My Hell Yeah of the Week. Sicko lover boy Ben Affleck. I have been laughing about this story all week, trying to spin the block on Jennifer Garner. Initially, Ben Affleck. Let me take you back through this history here, Joe. Initially, broken engagement with Jennifer Lopez, early 2000s. Married with kids, then divorced with Jennifer Garner for about 15 years, 2005, 2016. Gets remarried to Jennifer Lopez, then re-divorced from Jennifer Lopez, and is now trying to go back to Jennifer Garner, who's taken, by the way, if the timing is right. Garner has come back and said, no, I'm good, paraphrasing, but she said, no, I'm good. This dude, Ben Affleck, is the funniest actor that we have walking around. Handsome, chiseled, a Batman, has been in great movies, has been in absolute stinkers, and I mean, he had Anna de Armas at one point on his arm, and he can't stop going back to these two women. I love it. I love that he's just saying, hey, baby, you up? I know we had some history. I know we had our troubles.
He's the true toxic king.
Oh, toxic king. I love him so much.
Keeps coming back. Keeps coming back to the. Who would have thought Sean would have been tabloidy?
Oh, this one, I try not
People
to be
magazine
tabloidy.
in the line at the grocery store. Is that what's happening here?
I've got a fascination with Ben Affleck because he's just a funny dude. He's just funny. He's always looks miserable. He always looks hungover. He's ripping darts. He's just a dude that happens to be a great actor, highly connected, very handsome. And it always looks like he's just looking to get a breath of fresh air. And he just wants everyone to leave him the hell alone. Well, if you wanted that, you wouldn't try spinning back, doubling back to your ex-wife after you did that to your other ex-wife.
I wonder why he's been single so many times. He keeps getting divorced and keeps getting knocked off and coming back around. It kind of makes me wonder, like, why hasn't he gone the younger route? Like, why does he keep going back to all these women that are his age? Why hasn't he like gone
I think
for
he
somebody in
dabbled.
the early 30s?
He dabbled.
Start over.
I don't
Again.
know.
Someone who will put up with his bullshit.
I have done a double back before. In my first relationship, I did a double back.
Oh, you did? I didn't know this.
Broke it up in high school, doubled back right before college. Genius.
The double back never works. My dad once told me that when I went through my first breakup. He was like, "You don't want to get back together. It never works. The same problems just get worse."
Some people, I tell you what though, there's like some people that hit that lottery and they're like, "Yeah, we just doubled back and we've been together for 20 years." And that's how
they'll get divorced eventually.
But that's very, very rare. And it dupes people. It's like playing the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
There's one lottery winner every time. It's not going to be you, pal. If you think it is, go ahead and play. He's just the best. I love Ben Affleck. I love that he's toxic. I love that he's just doing whatever. It's like he's got no forethought. Or everybody in his group is just some Boston dickhead saying, "Yeah, Ben, I got you. Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead and do it. That's a great
text her,
idea,
man. Go ahead, text her.
Oh, enablers. I love it.
Maybe it's a sign that you should double back.
Who am I doubling back with?
The one girl that you pissed off for texting her on Valentine's Day. You should double back with her.
I already tried doubling back with her.
That'd be quadruple backing, right?
Oh, this would be a triple back. Yeah, this would be a triple back because when I tried to double back, she had a
right
boyfriend.
now. You won't.
You know what?
You won't.
I can't double back at 4:42 on a Thursday.
Why not? It's perfect time.
Because it's
catch her off guard.
Sean doubles back on Friday night. That's when Sean doubles
Maybe
back.
that's why the double backing isn't working.
Oh. Well, again, unsure if she still has a boyfriend for the double back, but I guess that's why
Screw
we double
him.
back.
He probably sucks. You should never be the guy that's going, "Oh, well, she's got a boyfriend." You're 6'6", 300 pounds.
I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be.
You're not a better person.
I'm trying
as somebody who has always said to myself, "Hey, I want to be a better person." You know what the realest thing you need to do is look in the mirror and realize you're a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit. Why do you think we live together? We do a show together because we're both pieces of shit. Pieces of shit end up in the same fucking bowl together. You're not a good person. Stop pretending you are.
You know what?
You'll be happier in life if you realize you're not and go with your own agenda. Do whatever you feel like. Be a dirtbag.
Oh.
Oh, wait, we got David gave us I had an aunt and uncle who married and divorced twice. He was shot and killed at a bar by his next situationship. Talk about down bad dudes, man. Where was that when we've needed down bad dudes?
Hey, David, if you ever feel like you want to, share some more of this story with story time, feel free, 201-834-4308. We'd love this for down bad dudes. Your uncle's a down bad dude. That's bad.
So what I want to know, David, well, he's dead.
Yeah.
So he's down. He's literally down. Could not be down bad any worse.
R.I.P.
Not to speak too callously. I'm sure he was
condolences,
a great man.
obviously. Yes.
Condolences. What I want to know, though, if he was married and divorced twice, did they get married 2 different times and get divorced 2 different times, or did they break up with one another? That's a great bit. I love that bit. Hey, let's try getting married a
That's
whole
what
nother
Affleck
time.
does. Yeah, go ahead. We broke it off
God.
once. We'll make it work this time. Just 2 crazy ass people made for each other. I love it.
What was it last show that we were talking? Yeah, it was last show we were talking about how the dating pool options for you are awful. I can't imagine trying to date when you're 50. Because then you end up you end up with somebody.
That's no holds barred. What are you talking about? Everyone's letting it hang loose. You're
No,
because
you end up dating somebody who shoots you. That's what happens.
Well, if you're dating at 50, that go ahead, take me out. I lived a fun one.
I think
guarantee you that.
If I'm divorced when I'm 50, I think we've talked about this before. When you're divorced at 50, you bang someone's wife. That's what you do. I'd rather do that because you don't date the single women. You don't. You just don't. You can't date single women that are single when they're 50 because those are the ones that will shoot you.
I think there should always be you should always have in the very back of your mind, like, if I do this, there's a slight chance with your girlfriend. There's a slight chance she might shoot me. I think that keeps a lot of dudes honest, and I think that's the perfect woman.
I forgot that you
not
you
someone
have a certain
that would.
Type. I forgot that you're attracted to that
a little
type.
bit, just a little bit of that crazy in there. Like she really might come and shoot me if I do this. Let me calm down. Let me calm down a little bit and see what I got. Keeps perspective. It's not bad.
No, it doesn't.
It's not bad having a woman that would ride or die for you, but also would pop you if.
I'm good, man.
Oh.
Hard pass.
What are you talking about? Just be on better behavior. hard pass.
This is always the craziest thing
Change your life.
when you listen to. You're the one who's single.
I
What do you
know.
mean change your
I
life?
said I meant to say
Well-
it'll change your, or they will change your
Well,
life.
okay,
rather.
well,
A little
you
crazy.
now have to fish in that bucket though.
yeah.
You have to, and I say bucket because there's a very small number. It's just the same fish that you're gonna end up grabbing out of the bucket. It's not. There's no pond. You just kind of stick your hand and it's like, oh, this is the one who bit me last time. It's the same shit over and over again. So I mean, you absolutely need to be prepared to get shot
Oh yeah.
because those are the only ones who are gonna date you.
What are you gonna not live on the edge a little bit all my life?
No,
I'm sure.
you don't need.
I'm sure.
Depressing.
Nice secure house. Thanks for making such a nice secure house for me where nothing ever changes. Oh, I love you so much.
That's almost like that's almost like how marriage is supposed to work. That there's supposed to be some
That
consistency.
it can
there.
work like that, but you got to know in the back of your head at any time you could get shot, and I think that makes everyone a little bit better.
You think your dad worries that your mom's gonna shoot him?
You know what? I'm not so sure, but there's a little inherent level of fear if my
Okay.
mom starts popping off. Everyone's got to. Ooh, okay. Let's start
All right,
cleaning
so
up the act a
this
little
is
bit.
making sense now. This is making sense now. My hell yeah of the week though, just guys being dudes. The San Jose Sharks, they're not very good at hockey. Tyler Toffoli, who's been on the team or has been around the NHL for a long time, had a bet with two of the youngsters on the squad, Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, 18-year-old, 19-year-old guys, had a bet that if the three of them all scored in one game, they'd all have to have a sleepover together in their hotel room. Just like all three of them crammed in. And the San Jose Sharks Twitter account shared a picture of the three of them with the rollaway bed packed in there. Let me send it to you. They're all. I should have put this into the episode assets. So they all packed into the hotel room because the bet came through, and then Toffoli's wife shared a screenshot of the conversation between him and her husband, and he texted her, "I gotta have a sleepover with Will and Mac tonight, LOL." And she responds with, "What? LOL? Will said on the bus last night, if all three of us score, I have to sleep over with them. Where? Question mark, exclamation point, in their hotel room."
Oh,
And then
yeah.
the last text message was, "They're in the same room." The whole picture of this is not understanding that this is just a total random dudes thing to do. It's like, yeah, okay, I agree to do this. And I'm laughing over the fact that this guy in his 30s is sharing a hotel room with two teenagers.
Love it. Give me the adult sleepover, man. This is,
I knew this is why I brought it
it's
up.
a
It
little
made me-
bit-
I almost sent this to you this morning. I was like, you know
Oh.
what? I need to bring this up on the show instead.
Genius, because that would have been my hell yeah of the week, and we wouldn't have even gotten to talk Ben Affleck. This is awesome. Coming off of an adult sleepover, actually 2 adult sleepovers in the year of 2025. I'm averaging 1 a month now.
Wait, when was the other one? Oh, when you stayed
when-
at Chance's
Yeah,
apartment?
when everyone
That's
stayed up.
true chaos.
And we had 6 heads in one bedroom, and it was just 2 different inflatable mattresses. I was in it was madness. It's madness, but there's something soul cleansing about it where you put on a movie, you play some video games, everyone just starts, just joking on each other. This dude having that sleepover with his 2 teammates, bet it was his best night of the year. Bet he just absolutely loved it. How could you not? You're just dicking around with the fellas.
I don't know if I could do it with 2 19-year-old dudes. That's the only thing that's like. I think it would have been a little funnier if it was 3 30-year-old teammates. But the fact that these goober teenagers are like, hey man, you got to sleep in the same room with us.
Oh, it's great. No, yeah, I hope he packed sleeping, pajamas. I hope he did it all. I hope they got room service, maybe a beer or 2. Yeah, lean into it.
Well, they're 19, Sean. They can't drink.
Well, the beer or 2 can be for the adult then.
Okay.
I forgot this is Hack City, aka Pearl Clutch City, where
All right.
we don't acknowledge it. That's what we're not gonna do.
Sean, get F to the week.
Get help?
I broke my knee, man.
No. Get effed.
Ice up, son.
It's the Hack City Get Effed of the Week.
We can't be smooth on the show. All right, I need you to play mine. This is the funniest. I don't know if you heard me cackling like a moron yesterday in my little workspace over there when I was working last night. I almost said this to you, but I realized I had to bring it up in the show somehow. This isn't really a get effed, but I just wanted to play this. Play the clip for our audience here, please.
Can you name the 5 NHL teams that have a color in their team name?
Chicago,
Chicago Blackhawks, that's one.
Montreal Canadiens,
Not a color, unfortunately. You got 2 of the same color. It's a pretty popular primary color.
St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis Blues, there you go. Another team with blue in their name as well.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Not the Toronto Maple Leafs. Some people argue maple's a color, but we don't count it.
The Knights.
Vegas Golden Knights, there you go. All right, 2 more. You've got an original 6 team and then another team with blue in their name.
Oh, the Red Wings.
Red Wings, there you go. Now you're just missing the team with blue.
Is that St. Louis? Tampa Bay Lightning.
Not Tampa Bay. This one's a little tricky. They have 2 names in their name. Blue something.
I don't know.
You guys can tap out if you don't know it.
Yeah.
Not it failed. Worse. He's guessing. His inability. It's just one of the funniest things ever. He's just swinging and missing. He's not even close.
No, he was going teams that had blue in them, but it's so he's wearing the freaking big Oakleys and he's got the hat like he's just one of these dripped out travel league kids, and there's nothing going on upstairs.
That kid, he doesn't even look that young. He looks like he's at least like 8 or 9. He's not like if he was 5, I'd be like, okay, man, like he's still learning his colors. Brother, what have you been doing? What have you been doing in school? Nothing's been clicking for you?
Can I answer the Columbus Blue Jackets?
There we go.
I'm going to answer the 5th question.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of the game now. That is, I was wondering, I was in here filling up my water. I heard you cackling in there.
Yes.
Normally when that happens, I get a DM or I get something like, hey,
No,
look
I
at
had to
this.
save this one.
Oh,
I had
that
to save
is
this one.
hilarious. That stupid little goober. Just missing.
All right, what do you got?
That's a good get effed. What I have, really, probably the most disgraceful food item that I've seen in a long time. I had to mute the word Kalamazoo from my ex-Twitter feed because I can't put up with this nonsense.
Okay.
And it's the same rant I've been doing on the show. If you're a longtime listener, baseball's got an issue. They got a yuppie problem. They are absolutely handling their creativity to grow the game in the wrong way. They should be following more creative decisions like hot dogs from heaven, like in Seattle where they drop hot dogs from parachutes. Everyone loses their mind for 90 seconds. Or beat the freeze in Atlanta. Like there's great baseball bits and gimmicks. The worst bit or gimmick that we have in the sport right now is just ballparks making batshit food and trying to have that become a pop because any publicity is good publicity. Let's take a look at this, Joe, and you tell me right now, you like that? You want to eat that hot dog? You think that's good?
It's coming up on the screen on the delay.
Pardon me.
Well, okay, wait. What is this monster? This is appalling. Is it donuts on the side?
This is called the scat dog. And if you weren't aware, because I don't think you consider yourself much of an outdoorsman, scat is another word for, yes, of course. The scat dog is a ballpark frank in between 2 halves of chocolate donut topped with whipped cream, sprinkles, and a maraschino cherry. This is a piece of dog shit. This is literally, and they did it in a way that makes it even more foul and disgusting. They put this on the grass around leaves, so
that was a bad idea. I genuinely said to you, "Is this dog like?" I thought that this was a hot dog that somebody put in some dog shit.
It's actually a dog dick wrapped around dog shit. That's what I got right here, and I can't believe that we are still. I'll drop it because I'm gonna become ill.
Can I have a take here?
Please.
I think this minus how gross of what it's resembling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of intrigued by the concept of a donut and
you're a savage
and a hot
and a
dog
rube.
with a little
That's
bit of
what
ice
you
cream
are
on top of it.
No, hot dog can't be a sweet and savory. The most sweet and savory you can get with a hot dog is caramelized onions on top, maybe a little relish. Yeah, a grilled dog should just be grilled dog bun, whatever toppings you want. I'm not going to be a toppings tyrant and say it has to be mustard. That's not me. But we don't combine sweet and savory with hot dogs. If we want to do sweet and savory,
I think it'd be
we go
fine.
chicken and waffles.
Let's try it.
Oh, we'll try it then.
Let's try it.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
You
I think it'd be good.
You want to get some dog?
We're not getting dog shit. We're not actually getting dog shit.
No, we can get some dogs. We can get a couple Entenmann's donuts, whipped cream, a little cherry, and some sprinkles. I'll make you one of these.
Yeah,
Don't
make
worry.
me one. I'll eat it on the show. Make me one.
Deal.
All right.
Oh, this is good.
I'm surprised you weren't on. I'm all in. Go and put this thing together. I will eat it on the show, and I will enjoy it. I'm surprised you weren't all over. There was, I think, the Miami baseball.
I saw theirs. It's another travesty.
It's like a cheese. That was awful. A
the
cheesesteak in a
cheesesteak
cup
milkshake?
with a milkshake and like just like plain sliced cheese.
It's the laziest way to get some type of engagement or buzz.
Yeah, let's put together a piece of shit and then hope people want to eat it.
Put together a big piece of shit and everyone just crushes it. It's like, oh, this minor league team made headlines today, and maybe we get another 15 people at the game. I know the minor league circuit is tough. I'm empathetic with it. I knew a lot of baseball players in college, and they would play at these empty stadiums in the summer just to stay fresh. They weren't getting paid anything. They were eating stale hot dogs all the time. I am very empathetic with how hard it is to maintain minor league baseball and summer league baseball. This isn't how you do it. You need to get legitimately creative and stop just following what the dumbest social manager is at the highest point of the MLB that keeps on greenlighting this. It is an absolute creativity issue, and it hurts the product of baseball because it does nothing. You go there, anybody that eats this, big dummy. Anyone that takes a picture of it and posts it, even bigger dummy. With the exception of Ravel. At least Darren Ravel does it consistently.
I'm willing to try it, though. I'm willing to try it. Folks, we are going to get to the hack bag. We've got one question. Please call in 201-834-4308. Still no voicemails?
No voicemails.
You stink.
Waiting on Flaccoberry for that uncle voicemail. Excited
Call
for it.
in. Leave us a voicemail. 201-834-4308. This is the hack bag.
The mail never stops.
This is the Hack Bag. Hit us on Twitter for questions or call at 201-834-4308.
You're getting clowned on for your okra, by the way.
I gotcha.
Question we have, and we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I asked for questions for the draft live show I was doing on Believe earlier, and Chester sent me an awful one.
What was,
I forget. It was about Casey Anthony. Nothing to do with the draft.
You know what? I like that he stays informed. He's kind of scrolling the New York Post once a day and saying, "All right, this is what I'm going to ask.
This is what I'm going to send."
They're asking for questions. Let me scroll.
Why does Casey Anthony age like fine wine? Do you want to answer this?
I don't think she aged like fine wine.
No.
I think she's a piece of garbage. I think the dumbest thing. I only added this because I think the follow-up question from the Casey Anthony thing is a bit interesting. No, she's a piece of garbage. She went on TikTok trying to be a hero, and she's not. And I think she got removed from TikTok since. She looks bad. The tattoo is bad. The teeth are bad. She doesn't look good. I don't think she's aged like fine wine. But if you were someone of Casey Anthony's stature, Joe, and you were just in the Hall of Infamy, and nobody's ever going to be on your side. Doesn't matter who you're advocating for. Doesn't matter what you're writing about on your Substack. Where do you disappear to and what do you do? Because I think you have to change your name. You have to try to start over entirely. Like me, I'm shaving the head. I might get even fatter or tremendously lose weight, but I can't keep on progressing as Sean Anderson had I done the atrocities that Casey Anthony did.
Well, I think that's part of the kind of the hilarity and the stupidity of her personality is that she just keeps popping up.
She thought people didn't forget.
I mean, people like Chester keep giving her props, so that's the if she started OnlyFans, I think she would clean house.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate. Jesus Christ.
Chester would sign up and be the highest donating.
How'd you nail it? Yeah, that's the way she salvages her life is she starts an OnlyFans.
I wonder what she's done for a living for these, besides killing children. I wonder what she's done.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you put somebody like that in witness security? Are you someone that says, I'm going to house you because you're so in danger from your atrocities? How does that work? I would hate that. I would probably move to Nowheresville, Texas, get on the land, I don't know, be a barback or something. I would just disappear. There's no way. I'm not getting in front of.
Oh, are you planning to kill any children?
No, I'm not. No,
so I would hope that you're never in that.
I'm planning on getting shot by my wife, and maybe you're the closest in danger from me.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. 201-834-4308. I did that off of memory. I did that off the rip. I have no idea if the numbers were correct. I might have just gave out somebody's phone number. It's Tommy's Deli in Jersey City that I just gave out. Hit the subscribe and like.
What's this you telling me?
Damn, my man's just calling in.
I don't know these cats. You're saying they're losers? Why are you saying that?
Oh, all right, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. We will be back on Sunday at 4. Later.